While the United States is without royalty and nobility, the Dukes of America built some of the most palatial homes ever known in the country. From Manhattan mansions to lavish country estates to a seaside villa in Hawaii, today we are exploring 3 generations of the Duke's opulent estates. Hi everyone, Ken here. Hit that subscribe button and let's explore some magnificent homes in a special episode of This House. This video is brought to you in part by Victorian Society in America. More on them later. In 1820, Washington Duke was born in the rural landscape of East Orange County, North Carolina, in what is now Durham County. The 8th of 10 children, Duke's early years were marked by the hard labor of a tenant farmer. In 1842, he married Mary Carolyn Clinton, and with their union came a gift of 72 acres of land from her father. It was on this plot that Duke began his journey as a subsistence farmer, a humble start that would lay the foundation for a remarkable future. The couple's happiness was short-lived. Mary died in 1847, leaving Duke to care for their 2 young sons. In 1852, he married Artelia Rodney, and they built a new homestead together, welcoming 3 more children into their family. At the outbreak of the Civil War, Duke, then 40 years old, found himself too old for the initial conscription, but was eventually enlisted in the Confederate Navy. After a brief imprisonment, he made a long and arduous journey back home, walking 134 miles from New Bern to his farm. Upon returning from the war, Duke decided to abandon farming and venture into the tobacco business. In 1865, with nothing but a converted corn crib as his factory, he established W. Duke Sons & Company and began producing pipe tobacco under the brand Pro Bono Publico. The enterprise was a family affair, with Duke and his sons, Ben and Buck, producing between 400 and 500 pounds of tobacco daily. As their operation grew, they constructed a larger 2-story factory on their homestead. By 1874, the Duke family had moved to the burgeoning city of Durham, where they built a factory on Main Street. In 1880, at 60 years old, Washington Duke sold his share of the company to Richard Harvey Wright, a local farmer. Under Buck Duke's leadership, W. Duke Sons & Company flourished, eventually merging with other companies to form the American Tobacco Company in 1890, which would become the largest tobacco manufacturer in the world. Around this time, his sons began building their first mansions in Durham, though they would be compared to doghouses later on when they built their mega mansions. Finished in 1883, Brody, the eldest son of Washington, built the stately Italianate mansion in Durham County. He was Buck's half-brother and did not end up with nearly as large of a fortune, but nonetheless, his home is still worth a mention. Buck's full brother Ben built the stately house just up the road from his father's mansion, which he named the Terrace, though he would soon find the house to be too small, choosing to start over by building a second mansion in the area known as 4 Acres. Unlike Brody's clapboard house, Benjamin's was constructed from granite blocks with cutting-edge technology built into the home, including radiator heating and electricity. The interior was finished out with imported wood, European and Asian antiques, as well as plush carpets, allowing him to have his first taste of luxury. All 4 acres of the aptly named property were curated by his full-time groundskeepers to maintain its park-like setting. Even though this property was beyond what 99% of the population could afford, it would pale in comparison to what would come next. Now with Buck running the family business, Washington immersed himself in politics and devoted significant time to philanthropy. A devout Methodist, he generously supported local churches as well as educational institutions. His most notable contribution was his role in relocating Trinity College to Durham in 1890. Facing financial difficulties in 1896, the college received a lifeline in the form of $100,000 from Duke, contingent upon the institution admitting women on an equal basis with men. Although the college offered to rename itself in his honor, Washington modestly declined, though nearly 2 decades after his passing, it was renamed in his honor as Duke University. Washington Duke passed away in 1905 at the age of 84 years old, and the first major transfer of wealth in the Duke family followed. Backing up a bit, in the early 1880s, Buck and Benjamin took over their family's tobacco business. Buck's visionary approach quickly became evident. In 1885, he secured a license to use James Albert Bonsack's revolutionary cigarette rolling machine. This device could produce 133 cigarettes per minute, dramatically reducing production costs and enhancing uniformity. By 1890, Buck Duke's company supplied 40% of the American cigarette market. Recognizing an opportunity to dominate the industry, Buck orchestrated the consolidation of 4 major competitors into one powerful entity, the American Tobacco Company. This strategic move allowed him to control over 90% of the American cigarette market, establishing a near monopoly. Buck's ambition extended beyond American borders. In the early 1900s, he sought to conquer the British market, challenging the then divided British manufacturers. His aggressive tactics forced them to merge into the Imperial Tobacco Company. The intense competition led to a settlement where American Tobacco controlled the US market, Imperial Tobacco dominated British territories, and a new cooperative venture, the British American Tobacco Company, was formed to handle the rest of the world's trade. During this period, Duke's business practices drew scrutiny and legal challenges. Just 1 year after Washington's passing, the American Tobacco Company was found guilty of antitrust violations, leading to its breakup in 1911 into 4 separate entities: American Tobacco Company, Liggett & Myers, also known as L&M, R.J. Reynolds, and P. Lorillard Company. Despite these setbacks, the British American Tobacco Company remained under Duke's control. Along for the ride was his brother Ben, and together, the Duke brothers achieved a level of wealth their father would have had a hard time ever imagining, becoming one of the wealthiest families not just in the US, but in the entire world. Ben and Buck moved to Manhattan and began building their first palatial mansions, but before we check those out, a quick word about the sponsor of today's video, Victorian Society in America. Are you obsessed with historic architecture? Have you ever wanted to go beyond reading and learning to actually experiencing historically and architecturally significant sites? With the Victorian Society in America, you can travel to American cities and tour exceptional 19th century buildings. Join the Victorian Society in America this October for an educational tour in St. Louis, Missouri. The itinerary is packed with exciting visits to key architectural sites, landscapes, and artistic gems in and around the greater St. Louis area. Click the link in the video description to visit victoriansociety.org and register today. Thank you, Victorian Society in America, for sponsoring this video. Now, let's explore the Duke's Manhattan mansions. Finished in 1901, Benjamin's first Manhattan mansion stood at 1009 Fifth Avenue. Even though the copper-clad brick mansion rested on a regal limestone base, the 12-bedroom house wasn't enough for him. He began purchasing lots further up Fifth Avenue at 89th Street and hired famed architect C.P.H. Gilbert to design for him a more refined limestone mansion. The interior of the second mansion was completed with a grand marble staircase winding through the 6-story residence. We'll begin exploring its sumptuous interior through the foyer hall on the second floor. Behind us is the drawing room, clad in gilded wall panels with ornate plasterwork soaring above us on the ceiling. Opposite from the drawing room is the dining room, where he once again incorporated both Asian and European antiques. As we travel further up in the house, we come across the library, boasting half-height bookcases to match the wainscoting and all set below a coffered ceiling. His wife's suite was fit for royalty, as we can imagine her waking up every day being waited on by 9 servants. Unfortunately, this mansion would be torn down mere decades later to make way for the Solomon R. Guggenheim Museum. Meanwhile, Buck had been busy building his own mansion at the corner of 5th Avenue and 78th Street. By this time, the area around Central Park was fully developed, leading Buck to demolish the former Henry Cook mansion to make space for his own. Finished in 1912, Buck and his wife moved into their 40,000 square foot mansion, ready to start their new lives together with their daughter Doris. The interior was every bit as sumptuous and refined as you might imagine, with a grand marble stair hall teeming with tropical plants reaching towards the skylight overhead. Each room was given the utmost care and planning, while introducing period styles ranging from Louis XV to Louis XVI. The Dukes enjoyed their palatial Manhattan mansion together, as well as their various country estates, including the 2,700-acre Duke Farms in New Jersey. In 1925, Buck passed away, leaving a legal nightmare for his daughter and wife to sort out. All the properties were to be sold and the funds divided amongst 14-year-old Doris and Buck's widow. But he had also provided a provision that gave his widow lifelong tenancy in his properties. When all was said and done, Doris, still a child, inherited the bulk of Buck's estate, including all of his real estate holdings, earning her the title the richest girl in the world. It is estimated that she inherited as much as $100 million, worth the modern-day equivalent of nearly $1.8 billion. Doris Duke's life was a blend of extraordinary wealth, diverse interest, and significant philanthropic efforts. At 18, she was presented to society as a debutante at Rough Point, the family residence in Newport, Rhode Island, which she had inherited. Rough Point had originally been built for Frederick Vanderbilt in 1892 along Newport's cliff walk. Her father had famed Gilded Age architect Horace Trumbauer completely renovate the mansion before his passing, setting the scene for her entrance into high society. Over the years, her vast inheritance allowed her to explore various passions. Doris's interests ranged from arts to athletics. She studied singing in New York City and briefly worked as a foreign correspondent during World War II. Her adventurous spirit led her to become the first non-Hawaiian woman to engage in competitive surfing. While in Hawaii, she commissioned her Honolulu estate known as Shangri-La. The construction of Shangri-La began in 1936 following Doris Duke's honeymoon through the Islamic world. Inspired by her travels, Doris spent nearly 6 decades collecting over 4,000 objects to adorn her Hawaiian retreat. Designed by architect Marion Smith Wyeth, Shangri-La reflects the diverse artistic traditions of countries such as Iran, Morocco, Turkey, Spain, Syria, Egypt, and India. Shangri-La's vibrant collection of Islamic art features gilt and painted ceilings from Morocco, intricate ceramics from Iran, painted wooden interiors from Syria, and textiles spanning from Spain to India. The outdoor landscape of Shangri-La is equally captivating, with terraced water features, a Hawaiian fish pond, tropical gardens, and stunning views of the Pacific Ocean. Her love for horticulture expanded to the creation of Duke Gardens at Duke Farms, an elaborate public display inspired by her travels and the grandeur of DuPont's Longwood Gardens. This project, which began in 1958, featured 11 interconnected gardens, each with a distinct theme reflecting her dedication to botanical beauty. Doris Duke's properties were as diverse as her interest. Besides Duke Farms, she spent summers at Rough Point and winters at Shangri-La. She also owned Falcon Lair in Los Angeles, once home to Rudolph Valentino, and maintained luxurious apartments in Manhattan. Doris Duke's personal life was marked by notable marriages and relationships. Her first marriage to James H.R. Cromwell in 1935 ended in divorce. She later married a Dominican diplomat, but the marriage was dissolved within a year. Doris had several high-profile romances, including with film stars Errol Flynn and General George S. Patton. Her relationships combined with her immense wealth and luxurious lifestyle kept her in the public eye. Doris Duke's philanthropic endeavors were vast and impactful. She established Independent Aid at 21 years old to manage her charitable contributions and later funded the Newport Restoration Foundation, preserving over 80 historic buildings. Her foundation, Independent Aid, eventually became the Doris Duke Charitable Foundation, supporting diverse causes such as medical research, child welfare, and the performing arts. The foundation also oversees her residences, ensuring her legacy endures. Doris Duke died on October 28 of 1993 at her Los Angeles home, Falcon Lair. Her fortune, estimated at over $1 billion, was largely left to charity, with her will designating substantial funds to various foundations. Despite legal challenges and accusations of misconduct by her trustees, Duke's charitable legacy continues to support numerous causes, reflecting her lifelong dedication to philanthropy. Unfortunately, many of the Duke family's mansions have been lost to time, with the only ones remaining being the first Benjamin Duke mansion in Manhattan, along with his brother Buck's Manhattan mansion. Duke Farms was torn down somewhat recently, though the gardens remain, and Rough Point and Shangri-La continue to welcome visitors as per Doris Duke's wishes. Thank you again, Victorian Society in America, for sponsoring today's extra-long video. Make sure to check out the link in the video description to learn more about their upcoming tours. What did you think about the Dukes of America and their palatial mansions? Let me know down below in the comments section, and while you're there, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an exciting episode of This House.